everyone. I'm Elaine Beck, and I'm so happy to be here today. I feel that we are walking into another possible dilemma that we really need to start looking at. My friend Justus Smith is with me, obviously. We banter back and forth and try and give you a better picture of things that are happening. Last night on the news, they were talking about President Trump going this week over to that financial fiasco they have every year.
Yes.
That's what I call it anyway. Where they sit and talk about, who money and where it should go and I don't know. They talk about that every day with each other, but once a year they have to take their jets and fly in a gazillion on separate jets, right? And meet from all over the world to talk about, whether or not they can balance budgets and who deserves what, right? Isn't that about the right summation?
That's about right.
Yeah. And so also then they got into some of the blips of details of subjects that came up besides the finances themselves. And one of them was climate change. And who's the prevalent voice of climate change?
The left.
Yeah, but who in particular?
Bill Gates.
Well, him and a man who was in government for many years, and I can't think of his name. Will you look that up for me?
Al Gore.
Al Gore, that was the one. And so Al did his usual every year. He's there. Every year he brings up climate change. And everybody knows that there are some people that believe in climate change, and there's other of us that know better. That's the best way I can put it. We're a Christian corporation. We're a Christian station, and we believe firmly in that God should be over climate, and God should be making decisions about what happens in our world, not we the people. There's certain things we're not supposed to put our hands in. And for reasons that we will tell you today, we feel that there's cause for concern, that there's other things causing this. And the reason that I just absolutely had to bring this up today was the Al Gore thing played into it, and the fact that we are looking, if you look at this map behind us, we are looking at one of the worst possible storms that's happened in years, if not generations, to go through our country this weekend. And when I heard that the other day, two conversations I had on Monday popped into my mind. And those conversations were about what?
Cloud seeding.
That's right. Because coming out of the valley where I live, I noticed the sky. I look at the clouds every day. I love clouds. And I looked up, and there it was. There was a big plane flying through, leaving its little teeny trail, which in our climate dissipates pretty quick because we're so dry, right? Mm-hmm. And then there was these other trails. They're sort of chunky looking, and that they're wide, and they expand as they go along. And we've come to know them as trails where they're seeding the clouds. And what do we know about seeding the clouds, Justus?
Great question. Could you go to the next slide? So the way cloud seeding works, it's very simple actually. Silver iodide that is in particularized form, aerosolized, is released by a plane. And then the silver iodide particles reach a targeted cloud. The silver iodide aids in the formation of ice crystals, essentially making clouds heavier. The ice crystals become large enough to fall and create snow or rain. So they're essentially creating artificial clouds.
Right. So now think about that. I'm looking at that plane in that picture, and I'm like, what are you doing up there? Who sent you up there? I want to know why you're doing this. I cannot, for the life of me, just as an average human being, figure out why we think that we should overrule what God does as far as when it rains and when it doesn't, and why we do this. Because why would I want to make it rain? The only thing I can think of that's logical at all. If you're having a drought in a country,
agricultural issue.
Yeah, agriculture, drought, and people don't have water to live on, animals are dying and stuff. I could see something like this being used intelligently and safely. But I have a question. If there is no cloud formation already, can you make one form of its own?
That's
In
a
other
good
words,
question.
you're not seeding a cloud to become bigger, causing enough rain. Instead, you are creating a cloud. Is that possible?
It's a really good question. According to empirical scientific data, it appears that what is publicly known is that they have to use a pre-existing cloud. But there are several instances where this went terribly wrong, and they have created some serious weather issues.
And that's why we're going to talk about that too, because I want you to understand, myself or Justus, we don't sit around and try and look for problems to create to tell you about. Trust me.
There's too many.
There's already so many, and the evil is obvious in this world to all of us right now. I mean, there's nobody out there that I can say that to that can give me one justifiable reason that we wouldn't be concerned about some of the things somewhere that's happening in the world. And we're so involved in the things here, Justus, right here today, our neighbors, our other countries, what's happening here in our country with the blue versus the red people. I like that. And how they think and what they're doing to each other. There's enough anger and hate and killings and evil and illegal aliens and problems that we have that we're so focused on those, as we should be. We have to correct things, that we're not thinking about the things that are really attacking us. We're overlooking some things, to me, that we need to have better answers for. Like, I want to know what went wrong on those.
Yeah, absolutely.
And why I shouldn't at least question what's happening this coming weekend, when I saw the trails in the sky myself this week. And in watching it myself, I was in the car with a dear friend of 16 years who her and I both observed it. And 10 minutes later, we get a call from the CEO of this company now, Jackie, saying, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe all of the seed trails I saw this morning. And then we discussed, yes, we saw them too. So if it's that obvious to those of us that understand what they are, I want to make it obvious to the country, to the world. I want people to know and question this. I think it's time we open that can of worms, because if there are people, and there obviously are, because somebody's flying that plane, see it? Somebody's flying that plane, and behind that plane is the money to do this. This doesn't happen free, okay? The money, the decision, and the why and the who, I want to know. And if you're smart out there, and I know my audience is, I know my audience wants us to follow God, not man. Follow God, not man. And if we're following God, we look in his word, and he talks about the rains and the skies and what is supposed to be. Why are we trying to overrule it? Give us some examples of how it went wrong.
Happily. Next slide, please. So this is an actual image of a cloud, a plane cloud seeding. So I just want people to see this. This is a known thing. There's no debate on whether cloud seeding is a real practice. It has been done since the 50s.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Even I wasn't aware of that. Somehow I thought this was something new in the last century. It's been going on for centuries.
Yeah.
So now that leads me to this. When was the first instance that it went wrong and they overdid it?
That's going to be Project Cumulus. Next slide, please. This is the 1950s in the UK. So basically, the British government ran Project Cumulus, a documented weather modification experiment, but shortly afterward, catastrophic flooding struck Lynmouth, which is in England, killing dozens of people. Wow. Some speculated cloud seeding played a role. Scientists later concluded that the storm was natural and far too large to have been caused by seeding. However, the events do go hand in hand, and it leads you to need to speculate. Is there something going on here? And is this a cautionary tale about the human overconfidence with the atmosphere? Are we playing God and being punished for it?
I love that. See, this is where it gets down to for me. We're not supposed to play God. We're not. And if you're telling me, again, if there is something, we've heard of horrible in Africa many times where they've had terrible droughts, where people died from no water, literally people and animals dying from that, then I can see that we try and help them if there's something there to work with. Mm-hmm. But the stuff that we're seeing now, no. Mm-hmm. Go on. What other example do we have?
This next one is pretty crazy. Next slide, thank you. 1967 to 1972. So this is a Vietnam War era.
Right.
Operation Popeye. They always have these funny names.
Yeah, I know.
A secret program aimed at extending the monsoon season over Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia. That is the Golden Triangle in the
And why would
Southeast
they
Asia.
want to do that?
Well, during the Vietnam War, they were actually trying to slow down a supply route from Ho Chi Minh Trail and disrupt enemy logistics.
I wanted you to share that.
Yes.
Okay, so what happened?
What ended up happening was the weather got pretty bad. The operation, when it was revealed, sparked huge international backlash and led to the 1977 NMOD Convention, which banned the use of weather modification as a weapon of war. Now, that's a really key point.
So wait a minute. Why would you say weapon of war if you didn't think that was a weapon used in this war?
There you go.
Okay?
It has been used as a
Why
weapon.
did they even write a paper like that if they hadn't already known somehow, I don't know, I'm not telling you I know this, that something like that was used in a way to use it in a war? Mm-hmm. Go on.
Exactly. Oh, that's spot on right there. This is a really famous example, and this happened in 2024 in Dubai.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's year before last.
And I'm going to throw this out there with an asterisk. Allegedly, Bill Gates funded this operation.
Okay.
So I just put that alleged for legal reasons.
Right.
But you guys can go online and see who funded this.
Love your laugh.
Thank you. Scientists, no, let's start here. Yeah, they were trying to increase rainfall. The experiment went horribly wrong, and there was a historic flash flood all throughout Dubai. You can see the picture here. There's some pretty nice cars in this flood.
Wow, that's terrible.
Terrible
That's so
weather
sad.
patterns. And again, this reignited public concern about weather modifications in extreme condition. But the caveat here is this wasn't used in a war setting. So the law only states that you can't use it in war. But if you're not at war, there's plenty of other justifications and workarounds where governments can use it on each other for joint experiments, agricultural dusting, psyops, black operations. It's a gray area.
So, if I may take a little liberty here. We are in a very tenuous time right now. I think anybody would agree with that. Either side, no matter what. If things are tenuous, there are many people that are still have Trump derangement syndrome.
Bad.
They still are trying to find a way to stop President Trump from doing the good that he's doing, to somehow punish him and his people in a way that will put them in a very defensive position to protect themselves. They pretty much ran the gamut as far as what they can do, as far as pointing fingers about what has happened. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, people, think about this. Let's look at what is and what's to come.
Mm-hmm.
We have an election coming up this year. Everybody knows it. We're sitting on things like President Trump, who has now decided that they're actually working with Greenland, and it's going to become a reality that we will have Greenland as well as part of the United States. Not to mention what's happening in Iran. And I saw a sweet young lady break down in tears the other day as she described that it was so sad that both Israel and America, the U.S., said that they would help the people that are being tortured by their government in Iran, that trusted when we said that we would come, both of us, come to their help, as they stood out in the streets looking up in the sky and were shot down dead. And it makes me want to cry, too, to think that they had faith in people and it didn't happen. I can only imagine. I've been around long enough to have seen some of the horrible weather patterns that took many lives and caused much destruction. This is going to happen. We're about the only people left out of this picture coming this weekend. And a lot of my friends and family that I know that are in Texas, where it's going to hit, around Dallas, and across the country, clear up through into Washington. And I've heard horror stories of how this could cause ice that lasts for 4 days, which would break down every line, not just a couple, which could leave millions, hundreds of millions of people in this country in danger. And God forgive me, I do not want to be a sensationalist. We're not that. We're not trying to point out something to put fear in people. But I think it's time that we get the people of this country to see reality. And I know we're not the only ones. I know that there's senators and governors and that trying to pass things to stop this idiocy. And moreover, President Trump is doing his best. And he's trying right now to find out how we can put a stop to these kinds of things. He can't do it all alone. He needs you. He needs me. He needs all of us to pray. So let's start with that. Let's pray fervently, starting right now, with praying for all the people across these nations, and pray that we can be prepared enough and keep the people safe. Remember, as a Christian, you have an opportunity right now to plan not only for yourself, but your neighbors. You know, the lady over there that's sick, or the couple that's too old to get out. Can you make sure they have food in their home, or that you check up on them once the storms come in? Can you think about how you can do something at your church that might help other people that you don't know of? Can you make some donations or do some shopping? Can you be prepared to help others? Can you pray constantly? Because I think it's going to take that. And you know what? Lord, right now in your name, please, it would be wonderful if you'd cause a miracle and not let this storm to be as bad as they're saying. We love you. We trust you. We put our faith in you. But we know man is always, along with, the evil one, the devil, trying to cause havoc. And we know a lot of people are spending a lot of money to do evil things. So God, please, in Jesus' name, help us right now. Bring the heavens down to earth to save the people. I know that when I went to El Salvador and they were having a storm coming and it was going to be a hurricane and it would have wiped out El Salvador. El Salvador is a very small country. Mm-hmm. And the president of that country literally got on the news, shut everything down, and told the people all to go home, be with your families, and pray constantly that storm misses us. And you'll never guess what God did. Of course he did. He heard the prayers of many. We can be the voice of many. I don't know that we can stop it, but maybe we can keep somebody safe. Let's try for it all and accept whatever God offers. But in this instance, I would just love to see that happen like it did in El Salvador. That storm literally broke like a Y and went right around El Salvador. Mm-hmm. Prayers are so powerful, people. I don't want to see this in our country. We've had so many floods this year that were unexplainable. Is that a word?
Unexplainable.
Unexplainable. Okay, I like that better. But you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
We've had so much happening that we can't explain away. But we know that there's evil out there just trying to destroy the good that's happening in this country. And it's not just President Trump. It's all of us. But moreover, it's his love for God, his closer walk with him than he's ever had. Our closer walk, our young people having a revival. I just read again last night, 600 students in one college this week went forward and gave their life to Christ.
Wow.
600 in one day.
Wow.
God is all powerful, and don't you ever question it. It'll be to your delight that he will show you that he can do it all. And he has done it all. And he will continue to do it all. But back to the subject at hand. We are going to start researching all that we can. And we hope that you'll join us on this. If you have information, let us know. We love that, right, Justus?
Oh, yeah. Whistleblowers, people who have been pilots, if you've been on one of these planes, please contact us. All of our contact info is on our videos. You can find us.
Yes. We're easy to find. And this is just one of those things that God has put on my heart that there is an answer. We know there's an answer. We just need to find it. We need to encourage people to do what's right, and righteous is more important. We like to say, do the right thing. I like to say, do the righteous thing. Righteous will get you a whole lot further than right even. So this is what we're praying for. I hope this has been an enlightening show for you. Do we have any other pictures or anything else? I just know that, I feel like enough has been said here. And seriously, let's put a final twist on this. Right now, there's 2 reasons to look up. The first one is the obvious one, that we all need Christ more than ever. That with all this stuff going on in the world, not just weather and somebody controlling it that shouldn't, but everything else. So many people at risk and lives being murdered and taken every day. And people coming into cities and doing evil, just like they're doing in Minnesota right now. People saying that live there, we are happy that ISIS is here or ICE is here. We want ICE here. We want to be, we want those people gone. But they've brought in people from all over who are being paid to be evil to our own people that police our country to keep us safe. How sad and sick is that? So keeping that in mind, remember, look up to God for everything. Pray fervently. Pray continually. It's possible. Just let God know that. Let every word that comes out of your mouth and out of your heart in love only, be something that he uses for good and helps us to do better and be more like him. And the other looking up is, how about doing us a favor? You want to help us with this? If you see any lines in the sky that aren't little thin ones that you don't see a plane with, anywhere in this country, it's harder for people that live in dense areas to see this. But if you do, take a snapshot and send it to us. We want to know where all this is happening. I think that it's curious to me, and I'm going to speak out of just common sense rather than knowledge here, and say that since we live so near the ocean, I think that they're probably targeting areas that are closest to the ocean where the clouds are more often in the sky. But if you can prove me wrong, you go right ahead and send me that picture. And tell me where you're from, and tell me if you've noticed them before, if you've heard of this before. If you have anything you can share with us, it'll help us. I think that would be wonderful. Thank you for listening. I hope this helps people to look up more often and remember who's in charge and help us to find answers, because we need to be praying this weekend for our country and all the people that live in that path. Can we put that path back up again, please, Greg? This path will show you where all of this is traveling through. And as you can see, it's about mid-Texas and down through Austin and that, and then just sweeping the whole southern part of the country between Florida and the lakes up there. That whole swath is being threatened with really serious weather. So pray for everybody. Look out for each other. Help your neighbor. Love one another. And we'll talk to you soon. Any closing words?
I just want to throw on this PS because it just occurred to me. Elaine, when you cloud seed, a cloud has to be here, and you cloud seed the backside of it depending on which way the wind is blowing.
Okay.
So you do it on the backside of the cloud. The air is going up into the East Coast.
Yeah.
And the cloud seeding in the Arizona area has been crazy. Mm-hmm. What if they're cloud seeding the perimeter of the West Coast as the wind goes eastward?
That's why I said that about
the coast.
Bizarre. Yeah, yeah. And again, we're not making statements here saying we know, we have all the... No, we don't.
Speculation.
You know, common sense tells us loving all of you helps us to want to give you information. We want you to become more knowledgeable about what's happening around you. You need to know that, and you need to be prepared for whatever is going to come. Seek God first, and everything else will follow. God bless you.